Hey everyone, how's it going? So today's video is simply a 5-round practice Sorcerous tournament. Just wanted to experiment with a few matchups. I also wanted to, have some practice. So without further ado, here are the games. So my first game is against Sabil from Morocco, and I win the lead here, so he's gonna immediately switch to his shiny Alolan Ninetales. I didn't bring any fairy counters, so I have to stay in here with my Fire Punch, Thunder Punch Hypno, which I think works pretty well. I do get both shields, no, just the one shield, and I do faint it down. And I know his Toxicroak's in the back, so I'm gonna quickly switch it out for my Munchlax. And then he switches into Toxie, and so I'm gonna try to get Body Slams here, and he does shield, so now I can get another one for free. And I get a bit greedy here. I try to go for the farm down, so I decide to shield and farm it down so I could throw a bulldoze into the Alolan Muck, but he barely manages to get his move off when I was about to kill him. So I'm in a really rough spot here. I make a mistake here. I switch thinking he was gonna throw his moves straight away, but I guess he was expecting that, and then he used the Muck to farm down my Hypno and finish off my Froslass. So well played on his side. So in the second game, I decide to bring in Skuntank to deal with the fairy, but I lose the lead here, and this is a bit of a weird switch in, I know, but I was hoping he'd stay in and I could win in the 2 shields, but he does switch out to his fairy. I do land the Shadow Ball, which is really good, meaning I can just use the Avalanche here, forcing him to shield, but he's going to be able to feint me down. So he does win switch advantage, and if he has Toxicroak in the back, I've pretty much lost, because whatever I come in here, he'll just either use Muck for the Hypno or Toxicroak for the Skuntank. And so as soon as I see the Toxicroak come in, I know it's game. I am running Flamethrower on Skuntank, and this is just to help with the mirror against ice types, against Toxicroak, and against Muck, which does help quite a lot. I think Crunch is only really good against Hypno, but you're gonna kill Hypno even with Sludge Bomb Sludge Bomb or Flamethrower. So I don't think both Crunch and Sludge Bomb is necessary. So I'd rather have Flamethrower for that extra type coverage, but he does take the game regardless, so GG to him. So surprisingly enough, I lead Hypno a 3rd time, and against the other Hypno, who's probably running Shadow Ball, is really bad. So I'm hoping that he baits, so I'm not going to shield. I can survive Shadow Ball, and as soon as all his energy is depleted, I quickly switch into Munchlax and start licking away. Now against fighters, you need to shield both Body Slams, otherwise they will basically lick you down. My Munchlax, as you can see, is about 1479 CP, so it's not very tanky, but if you do fight against a good tanky one, if you don't shield, they will absolutely lick you down. So mine barely survived, but a better IV one will definitely survive if you don't double shield at the start. So I do get that extra Body Slam in. I probably could have survived this, but I decided to shield anyway. Throw off my first punch and then fire off my second punch, but he does switch in to the Alolan Muck. So at this stage, I'm very confident I can farm down, so I can survive this. I want to farm up 2 Mud Bombs so I can fire 1 into the Muck and 1 into the Hypno, but for some reason
I pressed it.
Yeah, that happens, so all my energy is gone and I'm having to farm down this Muck with my Hypno. I do get a 3rd punch off into the enemy Hypno, and I barely survive, waving goodbye to him. So for my second round, I go against Vieriae from Germany. I get a good lead here against the Noctowl, so I'm just farming away, getting as many confusions as I can. I'm not going to shield the Sky Attack, and I'm pretty sure most people don't run Night Slash. And then when his Gramble comes in, I just kind of panic switch to Froslass, which was kind of my safe switch. But it doesn't really work into fairies that much almost getting the second avalanche there, which would have been really big. I make a huge mistake here by switching in the Toxicroak, and my plan was to tank the shield, but then I wanted to switch out, but the clock wasn't ready, so I should have waited.
Oh, I revealed my fire punch.
And I also did that in the very first round, which was a big mistake. So that's quite important, especially considering he has Bronzong. So I mean, Thunder Punch would have done neutral as well. So that's a big mistake. But yeah, at this stage, it's pretty much game over. Decide to go Froslass, which works pretty well against the Toxicroak, so he's going to have to switch immediately to his Gramble, so I immediately switch to my anti-Gramble, which I brought this time. He does make a mistake here. You see how I got that extra poison jab because he used his charge move? Because of that extra poison jab, I'm going to be able to kill him. So when you're using Gramble or any fairy, you definitely want to completely charm down your opponent and then use your charge attack into the next Pokemon. So now I have a switch advantage, and this Avalanche is going to devastate this Toxicroak here. I'm not going to shield because it's not going to do that much damage. He's going to immediately switch. I'm going to get one last Avalanche, hoping to take his shield. Regardless, it's going to do a lot of damage. And then as soon as he shields, I'm going to switch into my Munchlax. I don't have to shield this because I can tank it. And I just go to that Bulldoze. And I need to shield now, obviously. And luckily, it was a Sludge Wave, so very good shield. This Bulldoze is going to almost take it out, but the Licks can do the rest. Decide to go Froslass again against the Gramble. I'm pretty sure this is a losing situation. I will not be able to get to that second Avalanche, but it is very close. Maybe if I self-piggyback next time, I might be able to do that. I do something stupid again. I try to catch the charge move.
Fuck's sake.
But I end up switching and yeah, everything just goes wrong. So yeah, don't switch your fighter into a fairy, even if you're trying to be really big brain and tank the charge move. It's generally not a good idea. And with these resisted licks, there's very little I can do. I need this Munchlax for later. I tried to farm down with counters. That was the only win condition that I could think of. But yeah, he ends up completely wrecking me with just 2 of his Pokemon. So yeah, well played. He ended up winning the tournament 5-0, so kudos to him. So my next opponent was Nyx from Latvia, and I realized most of his team was weak to Toxicroak, so I decided to bring that in every game. I led with the Skuntank, but I had to switch because of this the Toxicroak. I got an Avalanche off there, which was good. This Crunch was going to kill me, so I decided to shield and then farm a bit, one or two fast attacks after the Avalanche, and then throw that off. Now he's going to come in with his Sneasel, which is a losing matchup for me. He does resist the Ghost and Ice attacks. He gets a few fast attacks off there, but I'm not too fussed. The main mistake that I make here, what I was thinking at the time was he has Toxicroak in the back, so I need Toxicroak for Toxicroak, and this is weak to Toxicroak, so I need to bring in this Skuntank in now. But then we both switch into like Toxicroak, and I have a shield disadvantage. What I should have done is just go in, use my Toxicroak against the Sneasel, just farm down. Even if he avalanches shield, and then I'll have a lot of energy for the Toxicroak. So completely misplayed that one, but GG's to him. So going game 2, I lose the lead again, so I switch into my Froslass, and he doesn't have Sneasel this time, but he brings in Toxicroak, which is a bit weird. I do get to these avalanches at the same time as his Mud Bomb, but he farmed to a Sludge Bomb, so I decided to shield, and he baited me. So yeah, and then I just keep throwing these avalanches, and he doesn't do as many counters, so I know this is Mud Bomb, but I felt I needed to shield it anyway, because I feel he would just counter me down. Even though it's resisted, it would do quite a lot, but looking back, I probably didn't need to. Here I'm just going to count to crunch and then switch to my Scum Tank just to tank that crunch and have a Shadow Ball ready for Wobbuffet later on the Froslass. And I thought I would actually win this matchup because I assumed he'd be running Crunch as Sludge Bomb and I can win with Flamethrower, but turns out he was running Flamethrower as well, which is pretty interesting. And then he switches in and counters. I should have gone in Froslass here. Turns out Shadow Ball only does half the damage and I knew it wouldn't kill it. So I decided to come in Toxicroak, but the Mirror Coat does double super effective damage, and even though it's very little, it still hurts the Toxicroak, which is very squishy, quite hard. So I end up throwing away my Toxicroak. I do finally get the Shadow Ball off, but then it's gonna be like a race with fast attacks.
No way.
Yeah, GG. So for game 3 or rematched game 2, I lead Toxicroak into his Azu, go into my safe switch Froslass once again, get the Shadow Ball off, which goes unshielded, which is really nice. I decide to keep my shields for Toxicroak. I assumed it wouldn't be a Hydro Pump and hoped for the play rough bait. Going for a Shadow Ball here again, which would probably kill. It'll take it really close to the red, so I am really happy to get that shield. I'm just going to do as much damage as I can with Munchlax here. I'm assuming he doesn't have Wobbuffet. I'm hoping he doesn't have Wobbuffet in the back because most of his team is really weak to Toxicroak. I feel if I can keep both shields on him, I can just do like a reverse sweep with him. So I'm just trying to get as much damage into this Azu as possible. I do try to go for this Bulldoze, but I realize I'm not going to get it, so I just get the Body Slam off into the Scum Tank, and then now that he can't do any more damage and he doesn't get so that he can't get farmed, I switch to Toxicroak. I do remember that he has Flamethrower, so I shield that. I aggressively farm down, and now it's a Toxicroak mirror, and it's the same shields, but I have a huge energy advantage. I have like 1.5 Mud Bombs more than him, so I can just completely take the game from here. So for the final game, the decider, I go Toxicroak again. I decide to stay in a bit, seeing as we both resist these counters. I can get some energy. I then switch into Froslass. He uses his return here, which is a big mistake. He should have instantly switched to his Froslass counter. And now you're going to see just how bad Froslass can be with an energy advantage. Even though these avalanches aren't going to be super effective, it's basically, it looks like it's super effective damage, just how much damage it does. And I'm able to aggressively farm this down. I think he got his charge move there, so that was really close. And I now know that this Shadow Ball does way more to Wobbuffet. It doesn't outright kill it, and I am able to get to an Avalanche because he wasted his return earlier. So you can just pretty much see the Froslass single-handedly took out 2 Pokemon and both shields. So that's just how dangerous Froslass is with energy advantage. So if you see a Froslass switch in immediately with the hardest counter you have, or stay in if you think you can, take care of it. So yeah, big mistake there, throwing the return and not switching fast enough. So now I can pretty much finish the game with ease. But yeah, well played, Nix. So for my 4th round, I go against Gyaradosboy from the Netherlands. I have a bad lead here against the Munchlax. Decide to stay in nonetheless, just to test it out how bad I lose it. Seeing this is practice, this is a practice unranked cup anyway. Go for the Fire Punch here. He doesn't have anything weak to fire, so I decide to reveal that, and maybe he'll think I'm running Fire Punch and Thunder and Shadow Ball.
Dude!
I get a bit disgruntled that I didn't get my charge move off there, so I'm already at a disadvantage. And this is why IVs are important sometimes, so you can survive and get that body slam off. So yeah, I do manage to get this Sludge Bomb on the Azu, but at this point in the game, he still has 2 1.5 healthy Pokemon, 2 shields, and then he switches into his Toxicroak here, and I know the game's pretty much done because my Toxicroak's almost dead and he has a shield advantage, so I just let that go and let the game end faster. So yeah, GG. For my next game, decide to go with Hypno, and we have a Hypno Mirror. Now I don't have Shadow Ball here, so I know I'm going to lose this. So as soon as I see this Thunder Punch bait, I just instantly switch out to Froslass. Now I'm quite happy to see this Toxicroak because I know I can beat it. I just need to watch out for the sludge bomb. He does get the mud bomb bait here, which is unfortunate. I do get his last shield, and I believe he gets my last shield with a mud bomb bait as well. I think I just shielded because even if I don't shield the mud bomb, I'll be in the red. I'll be like in like fast attack range damage. So even though I win the switch advantage here, like that's basically a mud bomb there. So I do get a nice avalanche here onto his next Pokemon, but at this point here, I've pretty much lost my only Hypno counter. So I just kind of threw it away there, and I don't have Shadow Ball, and he has plenty of energy, so he's gonna take the game here once again. So yeah, good team building. If you only have one counter for a Pokemon, make sure you keep it for later.
Oh my god.
As you can see, my mom decided to call me there, so I was a bit blind coming into this game. I wasn't sure if this was the lead, if this was a switch, so I fire off a Mud Bomb knowing that I would win CMP because it's an attack-weighted Toxicroak, and then in the small time frame of the CMP tie, I make a switch and tank the Mud Bomb on the Froslass. I do some damage here, but he is gonna hard counter me with the Munchlax. But I am a shield up, so I am able to get an energy advantage with my Toxicroak, able to feint this down, and we're even shields again. He is going to come in with his Hypno, which is quite bad, so I'm able to get the Sludge Bomb, which he intelligently shields and then switches. But now with shields down, I can pretty much take this down pretty easily with Munchlax, because it is quite squishy, the Toxicroak that is. Trying to do as much damage as I can with the Munchlax because the Toxicroak is not going to do anything. So what I do in this next play here, so I can't get to Body Slam here, so just in case he is mid Confusion animation, I switch to Toxicroak and tank the Confusion on that, and then when I switch back in, the turn timers for the fast attacks reset and I am able to get my Body Slam before the Confusion registers. So yeah, very close game. So for my final battle, I go against Satse.
Yay! Called it.
And I am very delighted for once winning a lead. So I stay in for a bit just to get the Sludge Bomb off, and then I switch into Skuntank. And to be honest, I thought this was going to be play rough, so this was actually a really big Hydro Pump. But luckily Sludge Bomb does kill from here, so it actually works out really perfectly where Purugly doesn't get that much farm. So I go back in with Toxicroak. I know he runs Aerial Ace and Play Rough because I've actually been looking into it myself. Because I stayed a bit longer with Toxicroak in the beginning, I have to wait a bit more against the Noctowl as well. He shields the Sludge Bomb, which allows me to basically avalanche this for free. So I'm gonna farm a bit extra just so that I can take care of the Purugly as well, and I am able to do so because he has crazy energy, or she has crazy energy generation, so GG. For our second game, he decides to go in Purugly again, which is quite surprising, so I decide to switch into my Munchlax. Seeing as we both do Ghost Fast attacks, I thought it would be okay, but then he switches to Noctowl after shielding. So kind of in a losing matchup, but at least I got the shield off on the Purugly. It's quite squishy, so he's probably saving it for like a late game sweep. I do manage to get a Body Slam into the 2 Body Slams even into the Noctowl, which is okay, and almost a third. Unfortunately, I overtapped, but I think overtapping with Lick or Water Gun is kind of a given. Come in with the Hypno here. He gives up switch advantage. I think I surprise him with this Fire Punch, which he was not expecting. At this point, I wasn't like reading his moves. I decided to just throw away my my Hypno, whatever move it was. Like I was expecting the Bug Buzz there, but he went for the double bait. And then at this point, I can pretty much just sweep with my shield advantage. I wanted to see how much Aerial Ace or Play Rough did, so I didn't shield. But at this point, I can just have enough energy to kill the rest of his team. So GG. Make sure not to give up switch advantage so easily. So for the final game, he doesn't lead with his Purugly. This time he goes with his Gyarados. This could be a bug buzz, so I do shield. He does bait successfully, and he does know that I have Fire Punch on Hypno, so he's gonna shield as well. And I am barely able to feint this down of Confusions, having another punch ready. I think he had it ready, but he overtapped. But now that when I switch my Munchlax and he switches into Noctowl, I have an energy advantage, so I will be able to get to 3 body slams before the second Sky attack. So as you can see here, I am charging up and firing off my second body slam, but I am also able to get to a third one, which is pretty good. I get a bit greedy here, and I was like, hey, I can just come in here and Confusion this down and have lots of energy ready. But I hadn't considered that he was farming the Munchlax down a lot, so I lost like 5 Confusions worth of energy. So here it's going to be basically a bait game. I decide not to shield, hoping for an Aerial Ace, but it's actually a Thunder, which I was really not expecting. Throw the Sludge Bomb here because it's less energy, and I am barely able to survive with my last shield and finish the game with another Sludge Bomb. So GG's, well played, man. So there you have it. That was my practice cup with the European Pokemon League. Congrats to Vieriae for winning that, but it unfortunately was unranked, so hopefully continue to do well in your weighted cup. So I probably made a lot of mistakes there, on purpose, obviously, so that I could, comment about them in the video. Like switching in a fighter into a charmer, I would obviously never ever do that. Totally for the sake of educational video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned some new tips and tricks. How to use your charmers, how to use Froslass. I think Froslass will be really good this cup, and like I had Froslass in my team before it was ranked 1 because I knew it would be good, just like it was in Fusion. As you can see, Froslass of an energy advantage is pretty crazy. Definitely include that in your team if you do. Probably drop Lanoon, didn't really use it that much. So hope you liked the video. I'll probably be making more of these Sylph videos later this month. Probably do some GBL videos as well. Using what I've been running in Ultra League, so hopefully that will be coming out this week as well if I don't spend too much time procrastinating. But thank you very much for watching my video until this far, and hope you have a nice time or have a nice day or morning or whatever it is. I'm so fucking tired. Like I've spent so long editing this video, but yeah, thank you very much. Azure out.